Coming to you direct from Silencer Shop Studios, home of the Glass Case of Emotion.
SilencerShop.com, the easiest way to buy silencers online, period.
Stand by for education, enlightenment, enjoyment, and entertainment.
He's not here to talk about your feelings. He's not here to say what you want to hear. He's here to say what needs to be said.
Ladies and gentlemen and children of all ages, please welcome your host, the Pimp Hand of America, Professor Paul Markle.
Oh, yeah. There's going to be a whole lot of not saying what you want to hear, but what needs to be said going on here today. Yeah, if you can't handle it, you need a freaking slap. And I am the Pimp Hand of America. I didn't ask for this job, but I accepted it because it needed to be done. You have an inquisitive look on your face there, Clark Kent. Do you hear something? Are you hearing things?
Yeah, I hear voices.
Do you hear voices? I do. Do you do voices? I do voices. I do voices. Oh, wow, I need to change the photo credit and the keyword for today's show. But today's show goes something along the lines of this. A society that cannot or is unwilling to protect its women and its children cannot survive. And we're going to finish that title. But, yeah, this is Student of the Gun Radio. What is Student of the Gun Radio about? It's about liberty. Here at Student of the Gun Radio, a firearm, a gun, is first and foremost an instrument of liberty. That's what it is. It's an instrument of liberty. It doesn't exist in and of itself. It's not a magical item. It's not a toy. It's not something we use to play with. It's an instrument of liberty. And our first concern at Student of the Gun Radio is liberty and preserving and protecting it. And preserving and protecting the number one country on planet Earth where individual liberty has an opportunity to exist. I won't say 100% exists, but at least has the opportunity to exist. Go anywhere else on planet Earth and attempt to exert self-determination, attempt to live as an individual, to exert individual liberty and privilege. It's not going to happen. Outside of the borders of the United States of America, now there may be a country, if you're listening to me in a country, and don't write me and say, oh, you don't understand, we can have guns here and that makes us as free as the United States. No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't.
Guns are just a tool. It's
just a tool. And if you're not carrying one, let me clue you in, hippie. Listen up, hippies. Don't write me and say, you don't understand it. In my country where we live, we're allowed to own guns. Oh, you're allowed? The commissar allows you? Oh, okay. Are you carrying one right now? No. You can't carry them. They have to be stored in the safe at the gun club. And then when you have the time, the recreational time, you go and you check them out of the big giant safe at the gun club. And then you go play with them. Then you check them back into the safe. Or we can keep them in our houses. Yes, the police come by and they inspect your gun safe. And they inspect your home to make sure that the ammunition and the guns aren't stored in the same place and that they're secured. And, don't ever get caught with your gun not secured or not locked up. Hey, Canada, how's that? We're free. We can own guns. How's that working out for you Canadians up there? Well, what we have to do is when we have a home invasion, we have to tell them, hang on a second, I need to go unlock my gun out of the safe. Then I need to go to safe number 2 and get ammunition for it. I'll be right back. Right. Hey, kid, why don't you tell them all about remind them of the Ox Beyond Rugged coffee box and how because this is Wednesday's show, so in only 2 days, they will have the opportunity. So remind the listening audience what they have to do
Yes.
if they want to win one.
As you guys heard last week, we are partnering with Ox Beyond Rugged, who they make the coffee box, also known as the Ox Box. You can check them out at oxx.com, ox.com. And they are they're nice enough to partner with us to give away 3 of them, 1 per month. And the way you enter to win one of those is watch the Morning Mindset on Friday mornings at 10 a.m. Central Standard Time, right?
Sure.
Or Central, what was the other one?
CDT.
CDT, Central Daylight Time. Yeah. So 10 a.m. Central Standard Time here on the beautiful Gulf Coast of Mississippi. We do a live stream on our Facebook page, and you can go just search Student of the Gun on Facebook. Watch that Morning Mindset, share it, and tag 2 people in the comments. You can't follow 2 simple directions.
No. Some of our people they're not real hip on the whole tagging thing.
Oh, okay. Well, you in the video, you can comment underneath the video. So you type in the @ symbol, which is, if you're on a computer.
The ampersand.
If you hit, no, not the ampersand, it's the @ symbol.
Oh, okay, the @ symbol, yeah.
And
it's
so maybe
else.
you're one of those that doesn't know how to tag people.
I don't. I walk up and I tap him on the shoulder. I said, hey.
You're it.
You're it. I tagged you. I tag you. And then I unfriend you.
And, yeah. So tag 2 people. All I have to do is hit the @ symbol, and then you type somebody's name and it'll pop up and you click it and they'll be bold. If their name is bold, you have successfully tagged somebody.
Oh, it should be blue.
Yeah. So do that. Tag 2 people in the comments and then share the entire post, the entire video. There's a little share button on Facebook. It says share. So you click that and then it'll give you 2 options. You can either share now or quote post or something like that, or add comment.
Something like
All you need to do is just hit share and hit share now.
Okay. All right. So there you go. And you could be. We're going to be choosing this week. Now, don't forget, oh man, we haven't even mentioned it yet this week, have we? That we are going to be in Atlanta on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday at the Concealed Carry Expo. If you don't know about that, just type in Concealed Carry Expo Atlanta in your favorite search engine.
We will be updating the whereabouts of Student of the Gun via our Twitter page. So
yes. So if you're not following us on Twitter and you want to know where we're going to be, for instance, and this we did this at NRA last year. So we're going to be at the Crossbreed booth. And so Jared will go on Twitter and he'll say Crossbreed booth at 11 o'clock.
I'll give you the booth number and the time that we're going to be there.
And then, so if you're following us on the Twitterage, there it'll automatically pop up on your phone, and you'll know.
I would make sure that you follow.
If you don't care,
yeah,
there's that too.
So make sure that you follow Student of the Gun and also my page because it'll be going on both.
Yeah, but follow the at Student of the Gun on the Twitter thing, and it's just fun and frivolity. And you guys know that the only social media thing that I have that Paul has direct
that he can post to
access to is the Twitter.
Yes.
Yes. That's not, it just is. All right, Crossbreed Holsters. What? Crossbreed Holsters, the makers of the Super Tuck Deluxe, also known as the Bruce Jenner Commemorative Holster. They make other stuff too. They make the Freedom Carry, and they make the Bedside Backup and the Purse Defender, and they have a really cool setup with a RAM mount, where you can mount a gun using one of their Ojai holster shells or whatever, molded holsters. You can mount a gun to pretty much anything. To an ATV or to your Gator. You can mount it underneath a desk, inside a truck. The list goes on. My point is this. If you want to attach a gun to something, including that something being yourself, go to crossbreedholsters.com and they'll help you out. I can almost guarantee they'll have an option for you. So, Frog Lube. It's green, it's minty fresh, it's food grade, and it just works. It is a non-petroleum based lubricant. That's it. That's all I have to say about that.
Physically fit, physically fit, physically fit, woman, nice, sweet, fantastic. Mix your body out to the big tight and the woman nice, sweet, energetic. Mix your body out to the big tight and the woman nice, sweet, fantastic. Mix your body out to the big tight and the woman nice, sweet, fantastic.
You what?
He likes to move.
I like to hit my pop filter
Oh.
and knock my microphone. Woo!
I'm going to tell you a short story today, guys. But first, go to swapfuelstore.com and save some money on your swap fuel order with the promo code SOTG2015. That's pretty simple. If you're a grad program
There you
member,
go.
then use
Just
your
do it.
use your code that you get every week, and you will save a little bit more than the public code. So today's topic is going to be stop letting your teenagers power lift. And let me tell you why. I was, in high school. I don't know. I wrestled since I was in 5th grade, and then I picked up jujitsu.
No, you wrestled.
I mean,
before
5
that.
years old.
Yeah, since you're 5 years old.
The number 5 somewhere. Yeah, I can do it. Number 5. So I wrestled since I was like 5 years old, and in 10th grade, my sophomore year, I picked up jujitsu. But in wrestling, they had us do these things that were called lifting weights. Have you guys
this process.
Have you ever heard? I was going to say burnouts, but that's not what I'm talking about. So lifting weights. Have you guys ever heard of that? I'm sure you have. And I guess the football team does it too. They didn't really used to get into hardcore powerlifting like heavy weights. Mm-hmm. They used to just do stuff that would build explosive power. So what I want you to think about is letting your teenagers powerlift will early on in their life. Let's say, when did I have my surgery? 19, 20?
Yeah, I think you were 20 when you had your shoulder surgery.
Yeah, so I had arthritis in my shoulder. I had bone spurs in my shoulder. So I had to actually get put under. They cut open my shoulder. And then they also found that my rotator cuff was completely torn up. So while they were in there, they just repaired everything. They removed the bone spurs, and I guess you can scrape off arthritis. I was not aware of that.
I don't know. I'm not a doctor.
So they fixed me up, but I was 20 or 21 years old. I was relatively young, and I found out. I was talking to the doctor and the physical therapist after that, and I found out that the reason that I had arthritis and bone spurs was because I had been powerlifting, lifting heavy weights before my body was fully developed. So that's something that I want you to think about when you're putting your kids into sports at school. Does the coach know that powerlifting for teenagers will create that problem? Because a lot of the coaches, they go through the school where they learn what they have to teach for the school.
Athletic school.
Yeah, athletic. What are they? They have the PE degree,
mm-hmm.
But most of them then they default back to just teaching what they learned when they were in sports.
Well, yeah, think about it. You're like, well, Paul, you turkeys say this on the radio, but this guy here, he's got a physical education degree, and I think he knows better than you. Well, are they basing what they're teaching on their PE degree, or are they basing what they're teaching on the experiences that they got as high school athletes? Yeah. And I'm going to guarantee you that the majority of what they're basing it on was there's education and there's experience. And most humans will default to their experience, even if the experience is not necessarily correct. It's like when you bring anything physical. I would have to deal with this teaching people to use a firearm. People who were self-taught or were taught by their Uncle Jim or whatever, and then you get them in a class and you show them, you educate them. You say, okay, for maximum success, I want you to do this. And you show them and you demonstrate to them, and they show you that they know, and they shake their head, north and south, and you say, okay, we got it. Then you go out to the range, and you start launching live rounds, and they default back to what they've been doing. It wasn't because they weren't educated, because their greatest amount of experience was doing it the other way. And what I want to ask you guys is, when you encounter something like this, you're like, wow, I think they know. Do they really? And it's incumbent upon us as adults. You can't let it fall on the teenagers, right, Jared? That's something they're like. Now, when a teenager's lifting weights and he starts to see results, what does he think?
He's like, oh, this is awesome.
Hey, look at me. I got all this testosterone flowing through my veins, and oh, man, I'm lifting. I could never I never gained muscle in high school. I didn't gain an ounce of muscle. Didn't matter how many weights I lifted, how many push-ups I did. Didn't matter because my metabolism was so high that I never built muscle up. I was skinny. I was like an Auschwitz victim in high school. And so even though I would go through, we did lifting. We had what they called advanced PE, which basically all advanced PE was lifting weights. But I never really gained any like weights or any size because it just burned off. But a 15-year-old doesn't know better. He doesn't know he's doing permanent damage to his body because he's young and his body heals quickly.
And even if you tell him that, he'll probably be like, whatever. It won't happen to me.
They don't have the experience to base it on. They're just empty sponges.
And now maybe if I would have went through a proper stretching routine before we did the lifting, that might have prevented it.
Well, you did stretching and warm-ups before.
But not like I know how to do now.
So you mean you didn't do like stretching exercises and warm-ups and stuff and do all that before you started lifting?
Yeah, we did, but it wasn't we were like teenage boys. Mm-hmm. Like we didn't think it was important.
Right.
So if I would have actually completed the stretching exercises that had been given to me in depth, like I probably should have, then that might have prevented it a little bit. But
still,
the parents, you guys, moms out there, dads out there, they usually send home a waiver for you guys to sign that says
now
yes.
They do. They didn't back then.
Yeah, well, now they do. So it'll say that, yes, I say that my kid can power lift.
Participate in this powerlifting activity.
Don't sign it.
Don't lift.
It's that simple.
So, all right, smart guy, you gave us a negative, give us a positive. What should they do?
What should the kids do, or what should the parents
What should the kids? What should they be doing instead of like trying to max every week?
do? Just light stuff. What we did something in wrestling. Our coaches put us through something called burnouts, which sucked. And I truly believe that's where my core strength came from. I can take I took a couple years off after my surgery from doing martial arts, and I came back and I still pretty much had the same amount of strength as I did before. It just didn't last as long. And I truly believe that came from doing the burnouts. And by burnouts, what I mean is taking the bar by itself, just the bar on the bench, and doing it 100, 150, 200 times until you literally reach muscle failure. Or you can set a time limit. If you set a minute, do as many as you can in a minute and then move on to the next exercise. So you do like a bench bar and then you go do like military press. Or you can mix it up and you can do a bench bar and then you can do squats. So you do arms and then legs and then sit-ups and then good mornings, which is for your lower back. So you hit every single muscle group there.
So low weights, high reps.
Yes.
Low weights, high reps.
Yes. Low weights, high reps.
All right. There you go. That is our SWAT Fuel Fitness Talk for this week. Take it and do with it as you will.
Attention, new listeners. We produced a free training video series called 7 Training Tips That Could Save Your Life. We want you to have access to this life-saving information. Get instant access now at studentofthegun.com. Do you watch Student of the Gun TV, read the blog, and follow us on Facebook? If you answered no to any of those questions, you are wrong, but you can easily fix yourself. Go to studentofthegun.com to find everything SOTG.
Well, all right. I just had to give Jared the hand and arm signal for vagination music. Did you pick up on that?
Yeah, I did.
Okay, so you got that. So you know what that means.
I can't wait till we have videos set up.
Brownells at brownells.com. What can I get at Brownells? I don't know. Well, why don't you go there and you find out. One of the things you can get is Frog Lube. And another thing you can get at brownells.com is ammunition, magazines, and ammo cans. And sometimes they'll sell you all of those in one package. Ammo cans and ammunition and magazines all in one? Yes. It's crazy. I know. You're like, what? And helpful hint to you turds out there, they're starting to go. I use Academy Outdoors as a barometer of what's going. And every couple of weeks, for the last month or two, I've been popping in there to see what's missing from the shelves. Handgun Glock mags are rarely in stock. They were in stock about 6 months ago. You get pretty much all the different flavors of Glock magazines. Now they're going away. just a bunch of empty hooks where they used to be there. The 40-round Magpul mags that I told you guys 2 months to go buy for only $18 at Academy, they're all gone. They've been gone for a month. They're starting to go. So if you're looking at your rifle and you realize that you only have the mag that came with it in the box, you might want to get another one. I'm just saying. But while you're at the Brownells.com, go ahead and pick up some Duracoat. And don't forget about what we announced yesterday. We're going to do a Duracoat Student of the Gun gun tap giveaway. It's kind of a giveaway. It's like a celebrity thing. We're gonna make you a celebrity, 15 minutes of fame. It's super easy. Just get yourself an official Student of the Gun gun tat from Duracoat. Do your thing, man.
Be creative.
Be creative. The most interesting, innovative, creative project that we get a picture of, we're going to choose it after 30 days, and we'll bring you on the radio, and you can tell us all about what you did and why you did it.
I think we're going to choose. We're going to choose it on Memorial Day.
Okay. Sounds good to me.
That's the day after the class.
All right.
So
choose it on Memorial
Day.
Woo! So you got a whole month to get to Duracoating, hippies.
Through the window, by the window, that is where I'll be. Come tiptoe through the tulips with me.
Thank you, Tiny Tim, for our Vagination update theme, and that is Tiptoe Through the Tulips. And this topic is so vag-tastic that I thought that was very, very appropriate. All right, going back to yesterday's, we had a story yesterday where we talked about Curt Schilling being fired from ESPN for an offensive social media post. And one of the terms that the New York Times used in their story, apparently Schilling is kind of a loudmouth, and he's kind of abrasive, and he's kind of like a man. You mean he's kind of like a man, like he's loud and abrasive and you know, says things that might hurt somebody's feelings. Aww. Well, in the second or third paragraph, because second paragraph, it says, Schilling, who had worked on the network since 2010, was most recently offered analysis on Monday Night Baseball, was dismissed after sharing a Facebook post this week that appeared to respond to the North Carolina law that bars transgender lunatics from using bathrooms and locker rooms that do not correspond to their birth genders. Sweet! You were reaching for the Deedle button, weren't you? You were looking at the time so you could see exactly when you needed to make sure that I was Deedled. No, I caught myself. Sweet Buddha on a rubber raft. All right, New York Times and every other liberal lunatic in the world, listen up. There is no such thing as a birth gender, you lunatic a-holes. Gender is a term that is used in the written and spoken language to indicate whether or not the subject is masculine, feminine, or neutral, such as he, she, or it. A desk lamp is not a she. A desk lamp is an it. Okay? Human beings are not, I don't care what Stephen King says, are not an it. A human being is either born, they come out of the birth canal if their mothers haven't decided to murder them because they were inconvenient. When they come out of the birth canal and they enter this world, the doctor looks between their legs. And if there's a twig and berries, that means that they are male. Male is sex. That is the designator. If they're split, where the good Lord split them, they're female. I know this is a foreign concept to many of you. There's no neutral. Gender refers to the use of language whether it's a spoken language or the written language. If you've ever learned to speak a foreign language, whether it was Spanish or German or French or Italian or whatever, you had to learn gender specifics, right? Because you need to use his and her or it correctly. Jared, you took German, right? And when you took German, you had to learn there's 3 words for the in German, right?
Yeah.
And they are?
Der, die, and das.
Der, die, and das. And what is der?
Der is masculine.
Die is feminine, and das is neutral. Now, I'm not trying to go off the rails on the whole, like, Sprechen Sie Deutsch thing here, but you know what I feel like? I feel like I have to teach adults, like, the colors of the rainbow. Like, we're so lost as a society, as a world, that do I need to teach you that fire is hot? And is water wet? Or maybe water can choose not to be wet. Oh, no, water can be steam or it can be ice. Is fire cold? Does fire, is there a cold fire now? Fire's hot, water's wet. Razor blades are sharp, okay? Rocks are hard. We're living in this, like, insane upside-down world. And the reason that I have to talk about this today, instead of talking about other things, is because apparently not everyone in the world gets this crap. And this gender horse crap that has been forced upon us for decades now, that I've been fighting against, if you know anything about me or this program, for years. Jared, did you know that I got a survey? I got a survey from a training company in the email. I didn't tell you this. I got a survey from a training company that I've taken classes with, and they wanted to survey me. And it was a very generic, you know how to create surveys. Mm-hmm. You send email them to people and say, would you be willing to do this? And it said, blah, blah, blah. And then it says, please choose your gender.
Yeah.
And you know what I did? I wrote them back and I said, I will not be completing your survey because you do not know how to use the English language. I am a man. That is my sex. Gender does not refer to sex, just so you know.
What is gender?
Masculine, feminine, or neutral.
There you go.
Okay, when it comes to these, if you look at a dog or a cow, a cattle, if you look at cattle, now, a cattle, a bovine creature can be a bull or it can be a cow. Do you guys all know that cows are females? Apparently, do you know where this stuff goes, this crap goes all the way back to? Do you remember the movie Barnyard when your brother was like 5? It was I think it was a Disney movie. It was some freaking cartoon movie called Barnyard. And it was about cow. There's cows that talked and chickens that talked and all the farm animals talked. And okay, the male cattle in the movie Barnyard, and of course they would stand up on their rear legs and run like humans do. The male cattle with male names and male voices had udders. Yes. They had udders. Now, I know a lot of you were raised in the city, but udders are teats. That's where milk comes from. And only females make milk. Did you know that? Males do not have the ability to produce milk. The females do. So going all the way back to, and that's just one example of how people in Hollywood don't even know that male cattle don't have udders. Those are for cows, which are females. Like I said, I feel like I'm losing my mind here. What does that have to do with anything? Well, apparently we're just absolutely going to go completely and totally off the rails as a nation because people that are born with twigs and berries now can just wake up one morning and decide that, well, I know that I was born with a penis and testicles. Those are medical terms, and I can say those on public radio. But I just want to be a woman. No, you need mental help. You need psychiatric help, okay? And that is, we're people who need psychiatric help are being treated like, I don't know, like they're left-handed or something. But Target, the Target store, which I'm sad to say that we used to go to a bunch because there weren't any Walmartians there, and in order to avoid Walmartians, we would spend the extra money that everything at Target costs. That's why you go to Target. You go there because you don't have to see Walmart people. You spend the extra money. Can we be honest with ourselves? And that's why we go to Target. We don't go to Target because we like Target brand stuff better than anything else. No, we go to Target and we spend the extra money because we're not surrounded by so many, I guess, what I want to say here. The percentage of welfare recipients / societal parasites is less. Okay, so there's less societal parasites at Target than there normally is at Walmart. That's why you and I and everybody else are willing to spend 5 to 10% more on our grocery items. Let's just be brutally honest. Okay. Well, so Target decided to go full retard, bordering on potato, and they've decided that regardless of how you were born and created by God, you can go to whichever sex bathroom you want to go to. And let's also be honest here. Jared, are mannish bull dykes going to start going into the men's room now and trying to squat their hoo-has over the urinals? Is that going to happen?
I don't know what's going to happen.
What do you think?
No.
Do you think that mannish bull dykes are going to go into men's rooms now and start using men's rooms because they identify as a man? Actually, they don't. That's the weird thing about lesbians, is these bull dykey ones, they hate men, and men are all pigs and fascists and blah, 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 blah. But they try and emulate them. Help me out with that, Jared. Do you understand that?
No.
The only creatures that this new policy is going to really affect is people who are born with twigs and berries, and they've just decided because they have a mental illness that they're going to pretend that they're a woman, and they're going to go into the women's room. That's the only thing here. I don't see lesbians and bull dykes going into the men's room to try and squat over urinals. And I know the weak-minded and the reasonable in the world be like, who cares? You're a bigot. No, it's basic common freaking sense. Sweet Buddha. Not this is just their identity. You don't get to choose. That's not up to you. You can wear a dress. You can wear a lampshade. You can wrap yourself in saran wrap and tin foil. That doesn't change how you were born. You don't have the ability. And you can have a doctor hack and whack and cut on you, but you can't change the DNA. You can go full retard like Bruce Jenner. And guess what? Bruce Jenner is a man. He's a man today. When he expires and stops taking oxygen off planet Earth, he'll still be a man. You can't change the DNA no matter what your mental state is. Well, it's happening. The perverts and the sickos are taking advantage of this weak, politically correct nonsense. Here we go. From westernjournalism.com. And the story is datelined April 23rd, 2016. Brave 10-year-old girl reports man in women's restroom. And what was the man in the women's restroom doing? Was he just identifying as a woman and going in to use the women's facilities? No. He was holding his cell phone over the top of the stalls to take pictures of young children. We told you so. We told you so. We freaking told you so. Who's we? Everyone with a brain? Opponents of the new laws, such as North Carolina's HB 2, which bans transgender males and females from entering the bathrooms or the other bathroom, which corresponds. Oh, my gosh. WesternJournalism.com used the term birth gender. Maybe ignoring incidents that are already occurring in men's and women's bathrooms. Such crimes are already causing a problem for women and girls. Last week, a Pennsylvania man was arrested for taking photos of a 10-year-old girl in a public restroom. James Thomas Shoemaker, 19, of Quarryville, Pennsylvania, a Quarryville, Pennsylvania resident, was arrested at the Manheim Pike Sheets store. He was found hiding in the women's stall of the restroom. When police looked at images on his phone, they found pictures of ponies and unicorns? Kittens and dolphins? No, of young girls. Color me shocked. You mean sickos and perverts and twisted people? Oh, yeah. Warner Todd Houston, writing for Breitbart, mentioned the arrest comes as progressives step up their judicial and media push to force American adults and youth to share all of their public bathrooms and changing rooms with a small number of sick, twisted, and mentally disturbed individuals who want to pretend they are the opposite sex. And you say, all right, Paul, Mr. Smart Guy, that's only one instance. Well, you'd think so. Let's go to Dateline, March 4th, 2014. Sexual predator jailed after claiming to be transgender to assault women in Toronto. A biological man claiming to be transgender gained access to prey on women in 2 Toronto women's shelters. He's been jailed indefinitely and been declared as a dangerous offender to the judge. Now, what do we know about Toronto, Jared? What do we do in Toronto? You can cut your mother's head off.
Yeah.
And they'll give you a day pass just to go out and see how, how you feel. I know that you're a dangerous psychopath who decapitated your own mother, but in Toronto, in order to determine how you're maturing, we'll give you a day pass to go out and walk among the civilians. Doesn't that make you feel good, Canada? America, I don't know what to tell you. We already know that Europe is gone. They're lost. The few people in Europe that are still trying to hold on like grim death to some semblance of sanity or liberty, they can't because they're disarmed. They're disarmed tax slaves. So the only thing they can do is throw a temper tantrum or something. But in the end, there's nothing that they actually can do. The only country in the world that actually has, where the citizens have the ability to affect positive change, or at least to try and maintain control over their nation, is this one. And folks, here's what I'm hoping. Jared, you can go ahead and get the cue music going up, but here's what I'm hoping. I am hoping that this current insanity, every once in a while, the liberals and the leftists and the big state progressive psychopaths, every once in a while they push it a little too far, and then they roll back and they're like, okay, that didn't work. We got to go around the corner. We got to come up with a different way. I'm hoping that this insanity will get enough people off of the sidelines, that'll get them up off the bench, and they'll start participating, and they'll say, no, not in my country. We're not going to play your silly little games. I can only hope that. You know what they say about hope. It's the best friend of change. He's going to let that go by, huh? He's just going to let that go by, ladies and gentlemen. All right, Jared, give them their homework assignment, and I will talk to you hippies tomorrow.
Go to studentthegun.com, sign up for the 7 training tips that could save your life. It's that simple. You just go to studentthegun.com, click the orange button, and follow directions from there.